those here who have heeded our call. Now, actually, all of you look like quite large adults. We haven't got any tiny adults, but just in case some of you are of a sensitive disposition, there are a few moments in here which gory, and there is full frontal nudity.
Oh.
Yeah, don't get too excited. On that point, no photography, please, because obviously we wouldn't want our performers posted anywhere that they're not happy about, apart from, obviously, the lovely Kim. Now, here we are about to experience and enjoy one of the oldest and probably one of the most mysterious of the circus acts that have been through for centuries, where each arena will bring exotic, intriguing, thrilling acts. And the Itinerant Bizarrium is one of the oldest and mysterious of the mysterious. Our ringmaster, Captain Zachariah, handpicked and assembled each member of the troupe over the, well, let's say years. And his and their stories are yarns that will live with you and stand as legend. Most, though, are for another day, another few hours. For the little time we have today, I will whet your imagination with tales of beauty, strength, danger, endurance, thrill, magic and mystery, and what I spoke about earlier. Now, Zachariah always believed he discovered and made the choice of who was to join his travelling troupe. And that had been the case, except with our first performer. We begin with, well, I'll say, most approachable marvels of creation we have. Bombadil von Ramstein. Hello, Bombadil. Thank you, yes, do give him some encouragement. Now, our circus troupe, they happened upon a huddled fishing village where the waters of the Western Sea, yes, Bombadil, they've given you your applause and you've blown some kisses, if we could, thank you. Were held at bay. Bombadil? No. Oh. Don't encourage him, please. I'm going to have trouble enough with this. Now, the night's performance over for the troupe and the piles of doubloons counted, Captain Zach and the troupe retired to a lamplit hostelry, the Minstrel's Rest, to toast their continued good fortune. Yes, they love you already, Bombadil. Until it seemed absurd to Zachariah that just one tankard of the local brew could addle his brains, yet from amidst all the clamour he was sure he could hear, could it be? How could it be? Ladies and gentlemen! Oh, who am I kidding? Reprobates, drunks, louts and wastrels, are you yet ready for the mightiest strong man, the finest singer, the most travelled sailor of the seven seas, the paragon of power, Beefy Bombadil! The chunky colossus, tattooed titan, favourite beefcake, Bombadil von Ramstein. Now, whilst Bombadil flexes his mighty muscles, tenses those tendons and stiffens the sinews, let me tell you a little of his story. His performing life began somewhat inauspiciously as a reluctant, if you can believe it, choir boy. When on his way home from church one day, something occurred that was all too common in those days. Very good, Bombadil. In those unscrupulous times, he was press-ganged, kidnapped by a bunch of sailors, for those who are unaware, bundled aboard a brig headed for the Bahamas. Poor Well done, Bombadil. That's a big awakening on your ears. Very good. Very good. Yeah, we'll pick that up later then, shall we? His performing life began aboard the ship, but for the beginning of it, he was locked below, and one-armed as well. I would tell you the story of the broken arm, but it's actually a bit too early in the day to go into that. Now, until they were safely out of England shore, Bombadil was kept locked below decks. When he was allowed aloft, he swabbed the decks whilst watching the Straits of Hercules glide past, then endless miles of jungled Africa. The bone what? Oh. Well done, Bombadil. Very impressive. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Right, now, across the ocean to India, where Bombadil encountered snake charmers and swamis, magicians and mahouts. After 2 long years without entertainment, beyond the occasional ribald sea shanty, he fell in love with the colour, the noise, the magic of, Bombadil! Very good. And is there not a new move that you've got? Can you show? Yes. Very good. Actually, it's very difficult if you tried that yourself. Journeying ever eastward aboard the ship, in need of repair, they docked. Well done, Bombadil. That's very good. Yeah. Thank you. They docked in Japan. Bombadil whiled away many an hour at the Kabuki Theatre and was also entranced by a small... Wow! Bombadil! Very good! I had no idea you were so flexible. Sharing a meal with the performers of the travelling circus that he found, he and the ringmaster found they had much in common. Although Bombadil was still in his teens, his travels had furnished him with many stories to share. And Zachariah, for it was indeed our very own Bizarrium he had found, swapped tales with the young sailor for hour upon hour. When he woke the next day, Zachariah realised that Bombadil was a perfect fit for the Bizarrium and decided to then and there ask him to join. He hurried to the dock only to find the berth empty. This was their first meeting since that time, and Zachariah was not going to miss the opportunity again. And I'm happy to report that Bombadil agreed without hesitation, and in fact appeared a bit choked up. That's hardly choked up, you're showing off again, Bombadil. And we haven't yet spoken of the fabled longevity of the troupe. But that's probably a story for another day. Suffice for now to tell you the 2 men enjoyed a friendship that would last for the rest of their lives, however long that is to be for. Thank you very much, Bombadil. Thank you. Now, as I say, Bombadil, thank you. Yes, you've had your applause, so if we... Yes, Bombadil, thank you. There you go. Now, as I say, there is many a tale to tell of the Itinerant Bizarrium and its celebrated troupe. For now, the Itinerant Bizarrium bids you journey into this field of circus further and your next adventure. And now, we move on to possibly one of my personal favourite tales, due to the... Actually, stop my wittering and let you enjoy. It had been known to Madame Alathe. Gaze upon her. Welcome, Madame Alathe. Madame Alathe, would you like Bombadil's trapeze out of your way? There you go. Madame Alathe, I am humbled as ever by your presence. I crave your permission to enrich the minds, hearts, souls of these people gathered here with the tale of Martha Rose? Thank you. I see a bit of confusion. Well, there's no need for that. Martha Rose is the tale of Madame Olathe. Martha Rose was only a young girl, her hair still in braids when she, her 2 sisters, 5 brothers, mother, father, and all their worldly goods and chattels were set in their wagon. Their wagon, in its turn, set within the serpentine convoy of travellers, all along with palpable sadness in their hearts, was the hope for a kinder future, far away from the hard living of New England. So they ventured towards the storied gold of the West. All was well. They began upon a gentle road. All was well, with grass and food aplenty, but all was well. With time, the road turned into steeper climbs, but all was well. Now stand to supplies, though. All was well. Vast swathes of untracked grasslands. Martha Road had never seen the sky so large. Blazing sun and roiling clouds, with not a single tree to offer shelter from the elements, or from the band of marauding, shrieking dog soldiers that descended upon them that hideous, fateful afternoon. These... Martha Road hid her eyes in horror as she was wrenched high, her life being torn from her amidst a blur of arrows and hatchets. Borne away from the carnage, the scent of blood and burning, however, pursued her, and that spectred stench stayed with Martha Rose all the days in which the captors carried her south. Her bones were rested within their tented village, but Martha Rose's spirit, alas, that is, till she was once again thrown across a painted pony, travelled across the plains and traded for 3 blankets and a string of carnelian beads, which would have been insulting had it not meant that so little had brought her so much. A new life amongst the Mojave and the beginning of her heart's restoration. These people were a gentle people, settled in a land of yuccas and Joshua Tree on the fertile floodplain of the untamed river. They were a people of farmers, artists, healers. Those of the tribe could choose their own path, whatever that was to be. All of the tribe, men, women, two-spirit. Martha Rose had never been witness to such a thing. She watched their skilled fingers planting, creating, soothing. Yet she was drawn to a shelter at the edge of the village, a space of smoke, of shadow, and of story. Herein sat the soothsayers, shamans and seers, women viewed with awe, veneration, and the merest hint of dread. They wove stories of haints, shades, and lost spirits, divined the work of those skill workers who dwelt in the dark places, and countering such curses with their own incantations. For months, Martha Rose had sat quietly watching and learning their ways before being embraced into the circle. Their warmth and generosity in sharing their uncanny skills washed away any fears at approaching the threshold of the plane they worked on. They never left her side, even as Martha Rose started her vision quest, moving further and ever further from all she had known as reality. In that place, in that time, she met her guardian spirit, who gifted her her true name. Martha Rose no more. She is become Olathe. Upon her return, the women gifted Olathe their sacred mark. Olathe had found her destiny, Olathe moved beyond. Olathe became the teacher, the explorer, leading further, deeper into the shadowed lands. Whilst her visions brought her great joy, they did also bring her tears. As it was revealed, Olathe's future lay not with her flesh, not of her flesh, not with her blood, not of her blood. Olathe was fated to join a travelling circus, and alongside her new kin, she should travel the globe, sharing her gift of divination with folk near and far. Obeying the spirits, Olathe left the Mojave with a small group of entertainers who happened by, and whilst the time with them was pleasant enough, she began to fear her interpretation of that sacred vision had been wrong. For here were no great revelations, no soul sisters or brothers to replace those she had left behind. How her heart leapt, my friends, when the troupe met up with another circus, and their leader entered Olathe's booth. She knew him to be the true ringmaster, flesh of her flesh, blood of her blood. And here we are, so many years later. Thank you, Zach. Many years later, Madame Olathe, deciphering signs, omens, and dreams, yet learning, yet questing, yet exploring deeper and deeper into the shadowed lands, further and further beyond this mortal plane. For the desire to know our future gnaws always at our bones. As ever, my eternal gratitude for allowing us even this mere glimpse of your life, Madame Olathe. It has truly been. Thank you. May I? Thank you, Madame Olathe. Thank you. Now, I would now, with your permission, like to tell you a tale that holds within its bounds much that should shame. Again, actually, I must allow you to draw your own opinion. Please, if you are of a sensitive nature, as I said, bear with us. There are subjects in this that may prove unsettling. Once upon a time, Helga Vartes was not the hirsute vision of loveliness you now see before you, but just another pretty little rich girl, a pawn in her ambitious father's games. Well schooled in the vital feminine arts of herbalism and harpsichord, minuet and mandarin, she was carefully moulded into the perfect bait. Such a prize, her father reasoned, was worth a great deal. And so it was that after a long weekend of hunting in the company of princes, he boasted of her wit and flaunted her beauty, her violated beauty, offering her hand to the highest bidder. And no amount of weeping, of pleading, or flattery could save young Helga from the betrothal thus arranged. And so she found herself one May morning being bathed and oiled, bedecked in fine lace and family jewels, and then led up the aisle like a lamb to slaughter, given in matrimony to the notorious Duke de Reyes. That night, he displayed every vice that had earned his reputation, subjecting his new bride to such cruelties that even now she would blush to recount. Suffice it to say that the young Duchess sobbed her way through what remained of the dark hours and prayed fervently to the goddess for salvation, else she was determined to fling herself from the highest turret to her doom. Imagine then, if you will, the shock both newlyweds had upon waking to find that Helga had overnight grown this magnificent rosy beard. And imagine the effect it had upon the superficial, supercilious groom. There's the bishop. He was bribed to announce an immediate annulment, and the rejected girl was banished, sent home to her furious father, who was angrily counting coins, forced to return the sizable payment that her hand had earned, shunned by the men in her life. Helga loaded what she could of necessities into a small troika and headed for the forest. There, she set up camp at the edge of a small market town and was welcomed by the women, and slowly she became the confidant of all. It was thus she happened to hear of a widowed farmer, his wife having died of unexplained injuries some months earlier, bringing to mind her own lucky escape from probably the same fate. Mysteriously, this was the last night the farmer was ever seen or heard from again. Our bearded beauty moved on and on and on, leaving many a village missing a sadistic character or two, until she came upon the good captain and his troop. And now Helga's kitchen skills I put to good use around the campfire each night. Her knowledge of herbs used to ease the aches and pains of her fellow performers. Yet, once in a while, she will still espy the telltale signs amongst the audience. Someone trying to conceal bruises, or that distinctive gleam of cruelty in an eye. Then the Bizarrium will travel on, however without its bearded lady for a short while, until she reappears with one more notch upon her rolling pin. Thank you. Thank you so much, Helga. I will always marvel that one such as yourself, Helga, could weather such trials, and yet you have become an incredible benevolent. Thank you, Helga Vartes. Thank you. Could you? No. Thank you. Thank you very much, Helga. Thank you. Now we move. Oh, seriously, are we going there, Zach, already? Are you sure? What time is it? Do we have a watershed here, Kim? No? Okay. Well, we are all adults. So, it gives me great pleasure, and I do mean great. Please allow me to introduce Daskazine. Not that that was always her name. She was once an aspiring singer. I'm sorry, are you ready, Daskazine? You are. As I was saying, she was once an aspiring singer from the fjords, until a small incident in a decidedly dubious and dangerous corner of Marseille, involving a saxophone player and a pearl-handled pistol, led her to reinvent herself. But I do appreciate that's not a story you want told, Zach, that's fine. She let us just sit back and admire the beauty that is Daskazine. I do apologise also, Daskazine, the musicians are away at the bar still, so we'll have them for the next show, I promise. She can actually no longer look upon the staves of her music without seeing the blood stains that... Sorry, Zach, I won't go on with that again. But happily, in Zachariah's circus, she had found... Daskazine, are you planning to go much further? You are, okay. Well, fair enough. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are of a sensitive disposition, please avert your eyes. I wouldn't want to... How much more is coming off, Daskazine? And oh, I see. You're revealing all that artwork. That'll be beautiful. You're revealing all of that artwork. All right, Daskazine. And that, but surely if we can... Okay. Have you had them done now? Oh, that's beautiful, Daskazine. Thank you. But if we could... No, I don't think that's possibly a good... I'll take those. Thank you, Daskazine. Zach, would you mind? Thank you. Yes, Daskazine has never been what you would call a blushing flower. In fact, oh, Daskazine, that possibly could be taking it slightly too far. Yeah. Thank you very much, Daskazine. That was joyous. And I don't know, actually, how much... Oh, okay. Did you learn that from Bombadil? Does it? Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so what's happening now? What? Livingston, what are you doing? No, actually, no, I don't think that no, thank you! Thank you very much, Daskazine and Livingston. Thank you. Yes, well, thank you, Daskazine. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our first show. We now need to take a break to prepare... Oh, there is a younger person here. I'm sorry if that offends you in any way. Thank you very much. If you would like to get some air, cooler out there, if you want to get yourselves another drink, please feel free. But thank you again for sitting through that first show. Yes, we now have 2 other shows.
How long is the break?
Little break, 15 minutes maybe. No, just enough time for us to reset and get the other acts prepared for you.